Okay, so the first thing to learn while soloing her is how to walk her and how to get her on the safe spot. When you first go in, I usually drop a brewer there to have the red dot on the mini map so I know where to click when walking her towards a safe spot. It just makes it way much easier. Now when she spawns, you should attack her at least once so she starts focusing on you and doesn't like run away and then start attacking you. When you start walking on her, she's either gonna go one of three different directions. She'll either start walking west and you can just lure her right on the safe spot, or she'll walk east like she did in this video and you'll have to walk her all the way to the east wall and then she'll start walking west, or she'll walk south. If she walks south, you have to run back towards the middle and then run down the east path and she'll jump towards the middle and take a few steps down the east path and then you can stand on her and she'll either start walking east or west and then just do it like I did in this video. Okay, so you finally got her to stay on the safe spot. Now take notice of how next, after she jumps, she walks south, east, west, east, and then jumps again and repeats that pattern. The click is different for everyone because of their internet connection, FPS, gaming, and game out, but for generally for most people, you have to give the command to attack next when it's halfway walking east the second time and then click back to where you were standing. This prevents her from attacking you and getting unlured. Now, if this is your first time trying the safe spot, it's always better to be late than early because if you're late, the attack command won't go through and you'll just stand there. Where if you attack early, it will attack you and then it will most likely be unlured and you'll have to walk it again. Just repeat this until it calls Fumus, basically. And this is also what you'll be doing during the blood stage, the ice phase, and the last phase. Okay, so next finally called Fumus. The easiest way to kill Fumus is basically to just tank it. So just brew up to as high as you can, restore your stats, get your claws out if you have special ready, turn Mage Per on, Turmoil or Piety, and run over and start attacking it. Now, pray Mage until she does there is and then jumps to you and she's meleeing you. Then you switch to melee Protect. And I used Rapier in this video because I was in green D'hide, but all the times I've soloed in full Pernix instead of Voidin, stuff like that, I found it better to use a Chaotic Crossbow because Rapier is highly inaccurate when you're in full Pernix and Arma, so you don't really need to bother taking Rapier if you're in full Arma slash Pernix. So after Fumus is dead, you want to tag Nex as soon as you can so she doesn't drag you in or any of that BS. Now, a lot of people don't know how to do the shadow phase correctly. You want to stand around 5 steps away from her and just keep ranging her. And whenever she runs close to you, you want to throw protection from Melion and tank 2 to 3 hits and then take 5 steps away from her and she should have stopped following you. If you panic run halfway across the room, she will keep following you and you'll be chugging those yellow things like most of you probably can't afford to do, and it might cost you the kill. Now, the easiest way to do Shadow Phase, in a solo at least, is to stand around the north area of the cliff against the wall until she comes up and starts meleeing you. Then you run south to the corner spots and she'll get stuck behind them and she won't be able to melee you anymore. The only annoying thing about this part is you'll be standing sometimes 2 to 3 steps away from her, so you'll take a lot of damage, and she jumps constantly back to that spot and you can misclick a lot, but if you can get the hang of this spot, it really does help a lot. Okay, so after she calls Umbra, you want to run towards the center and try to get Nex to jump towards you. If she jumps towards you, she will stand there a while and you can run around the side and start getting free hits on Umbra before she jumps over towards Umbra and starts meleeing you. Once she does that, you just want to run back to the center, try to get her to jump towards you again, and she'll just stand there and just repeat the process until Umbra is dead. Now, there is a safe spot to Umbra and Fumus, but it's pretty, um, it's not hard to do, it's just annoying to get right, and you can mess it up easily. If I ever do an advanced solo guide, if they never nerf the safe spot, I'll probably release it in that. But doing this method is just way easier, and just keep repeating it until Umbra is dead. And you can throw claw specials in also whenever you can. Usually want to do it as soon as you get next to jump to the middle, because if you do it halfway while you're attacking Umbra, she'll usually jump immediately towards you, and it's not very nice to get meleeed and comboed upon when you're in claws and no shield. So once Umbra is dead, there's you can do one of two different ways of luring Nex back to the safe spot. You can either tag her immediately next to Umbra, and as soon as she starts to do the siphoning, you run to the safe spot, and after she's done siphoning, she should just immediately jump right on you and be lured. Or you can just tag her and then wait for her to finish the siphoning and get her to jump onto the east or west path and lure and walk her similar to how you did the first phase. So basically, for blood phase, you just repeat the same process of what you did for the safe spot for the first phase. Just one thing I forgot adding for the first phase is whenever you claw, the timing to attack it is the same. It's just that you have to spam click back to the safe spot because of how claws work, and they do 4 attacks. So if you just try clicking once back to the safe spot, you'll actually just end up standing out in the open. Then she'll attack you and be unlured. So after she calls Kror, then you just brew up to like full HP, restore your stats again, and go over and run and just claw Kror out. Now there's a safe spot for Kror just like there is for Umbra and Fumus. This one's probably the easiest of the three, and you can probably easily find it in other videos. I just didn't do it because not sure why, to be honest, but just like I said for the others, if I ever release a advanced solo video, I'll probably put it in there. So after Kror is dead, the best way to lure Nex back to the safe spot is to tag Nex while it's still by Kror and just run all the way to the safe spot, and Nex will just jump on you and be lured. Tank, contain this, and prison if you're on the safe spot if needed. Don't run away because that's just idiotic and it will be unlured, and then you'll just take a bunch of damage. If it doesn't work for you, just walk it like you did for the first phase and the blood phase, and you should be okay. Just be ready to run away from contain this, and you'll be tanking random ice prisons. Now, if you're walking her and she's still far away and she does contain this, the best thing to do is to run all the way to the east wall, because when she's done doing contain this, she'll jump right on you, and then you can just start walking her west towards the safe spot, and it will minimize the damage taken getting her to the safe spot on this phase. Okay, so after you safe spot the ice phase and she has called Glacies, you want to switch your crossbow to long range and put mage prayer on, and keep your range prayer on if you were using it instead of melee. And then you want to wait for Nex to jump, and then a split second after she jumps, you want to attack Lacey's and run back to the safe spot. I recommend you drop vials so you can easily see the safe spot after you attack Lacey, since you run 2 steps up. And if you get frozen by Glacies, it's no big deal because as long as you click to attack her a split second after Nex jumps, you have enough time to not be frozen and run back to the safe spot before Nex jumps and attacks you. So, and then after Glacies is dead, if it drops a ceremonial item, I usually don't recommend running for it. If you really have to get that ceremonial mask or whatever it is, just attack next to get her into the zeros phase or last phase, whatever you want to call it. Run, pick up the item, and relure her to the safe spot. Now, the reason I recommend on not doing that is if you keep her lured from the ice phase and attack her, most of the time she stays lured and you don't have to rewalk her, but if it did drop ceremonial and didn't stay lured, you might as well go run for it and then lure next accordingly. For last phase, it's just like all the other phases you safe spotted. The only difference is if you got her safe spotted and she's on deflect melee prayer and you're doing a speed kill and you still got like tons of recovery specials left and you got bruise, I recommend like running out and purposely messing up the safe spot just to get her to switch off of deflect melee, because this phase usually takes up at least half of the time you're in the room soloing next. So I definitely recommend to get off deflect melee if it is on deflect melee, and then just continue killing it until it's finally dead. If you're soloing and you're using wealth, make sure to switch to wealth like a few hits before it dies, and run away from Wrath if you're like 200 LP and might die from it. But other than that, you should have soloed next after that, and I hope this video helps. If you want to see any advanced guides or anything else, just thumbs up this video and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching.